Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Eala wants to forget this one, with Wimbledon coming. As Eala puts behind the pain of what she said was one of the toughest losses of her career, Rafa Nadal has gone public to air his support and make it known of what he believes is coming for the hard-fighting pride of the Philippines. The first final of many finals, Eala, Nadal wrote on X with an applause emoji, as the 22-time Grand Slam champ who recently retired praised the product of his academy who went down to Maya Joint of Australia, 6-4, 1-6, 7-6, 10, in the Lexus Eastbourne Open in the United Kingdom on Sunday morning in Manila. Nadal posted the comment after Eala cried a river in accepting the second-place trophy before a packed gallery that stayed on its feet throughout her speech. "Thank you everyone for the love," Eala said. "This has to be one of the toughest losses of my early career, but I firmly believe that it's these moments make you stronger and shape your character." As the first Filipino man or woman to reach a final of such a big event, the 20-year-old Eala will make another significant jump in the world rankings, to 56th from 74th when she started her Eastbourne campaign, where she went through qualifying. "Though I'm so happy with the positive week, it's full speed ahead to Wimbledon," Eala said. "I have a date on center court. Hopefully I forget about this one soon." Eala tries to gather herself before an emotional speech. AP. As Eala puts behind the pain of what she said was one of the toughest losses of her career, Rafa Nadal has gone public to air his support and make it known of what he believes is coming for the hard-fighting pride of the Philippines. The first final of many finals, Eala, Nadal wrote on X with an applause emoji, as the 22-time Grand Slam champ who recently retired praised the product of his academy who went down to Maya Joint of Australia, 6-4, 1-6, 7-6, 10, in the Lexus Eastbourne Open in the United Kingdom on. Nadal posted the comment after Eala cried a river in accepting the second-place trophy before a packed gallery that stayed on its feet throughout her speech. "Thank you everyone for the love," Eala said. "This has to be one of the toughest losses of my early career, but I firmly believe that it's these moments make you stronger and shape your character." Historic figures who were actually photographed. Gloriosa. As the first Filipino man or woman to reach a final of such a big event, the 20-year-old Eala will make another significant jump in the world rankings, to 56th from 74th when she started her Eastbourne campaign, where she went through qualifying. "I'm back." Boxer Pacquiao confirms coming out of retirement at 46. Up next is a clash with defending Wimbledon champion Barbara Krejcikova on Tuesday, as what is probably the most hallowed tennis championship in the world gets off the ground. Asawa ni Miko Montefalco Ibanandra ang mirror selfie kasama ang amanaway third-party tila proud pa ang asawa ni Miko Montefalco na si Patrick Bernardino sa Ginawa, sa asawa matapos Ibandra ang larawan kasama ang isang babaid Inquirer.net. "Though I'm so happy with the positive week, it's full speed ahead to Wimbledon," Eala said. "I have a date on center court. Hopefully I forget about this one soon." Eala is no stranger to taking on and beating Grand Slam champions, like she did in the Miami Open, which, for all intents and purposes, was her breakthrough tournament after she bundled out one heavyweight after another. Top-tier victims. Former world number 1 Iga Swiatek of Poland was one of her victims there as she went on to play in the semi-finals, where the dream run ended at the hands of Jessica Pegula of the United States in 3 sets. Krejcikova is a 2-time major champion, having also ruled the French Open in 2021. One to forget, one to remember. Word count, 1, 650. The clay dust still clung to Eala's socks as she sat in the locker room, head bowed, the echo of her last match bouncing in her mind louder than the applause she didn't receive. Losses weren't new. Tennis was brutal that way. Even legends stacked defeats like postcards from places they never wanted to visit again. But this one stung deeper. Not because it was her worst match, but because it had been so average. No drama, no spectacular collapse. Just a slow bleed. The scoreboard had blinked its cold truth. 3-6, 4-6. And that was that. No media frenzy. No crowd gasps. Just polite claps and polite exits. The kind of match that disappears into stat sheets, forgotten by all, except the one who played it. Alex pulled her hoodie over her head and slipped on her headphones, but music couldn't drown out the silence in her chest. She whispered the words to herself. I want to forget this one. Not out of denial, but strategy. Like pruning a branch to let a stronger one grow. Days later, London calling. Grass courts had a different smell, fresh, clean, unburdened. It always felt like a reset. Wimbledon. Even saying the words slowed her heart. Not from nerves, but from awe. The prestige of center court, the ghost trails of Serena, Federer, Sharapova, all reminded her she wasn't just chasing points. She was chasing history. She remembered the first time she walked those courts as a junior. Everything felt massive. She had felt small, an imposter wrapped in Nike gear and teenage nerves. But now, at 19, she had something she didn't back then. Grit. She wasn't the prodigy anymore. She was the prospect. The one reporters labeled promising in paragraphs between longer features on top seeds. But she didn't need spotlights. She needed one good swing to start a rhythm. One good match to shake off the clay ghosts. She needed to belong. Practice courts, Wimbledon week. Her new coach, Clara Beaumont, tossed a ball and watched her footwork like a hawk. Forget France? Clara asked, casually. Alex's forehead wrinkled. Trying. Clara tilted her head. Try less. Let it go instead. She didn't answer, but the idea stuck. Let it go. Not stuff it in a drawer and sit on it. Actually let it go, like a leaf floating down the Thames. Like a chapter turned before it stained the next one. She hit a crisp cross-court forehand and watched it paint the line. Better, Clara said. Match day, round 1. Wimbledon crowds were polite, but you could hear their attention. It was in the soft gasps, the muttered comments, the rustle of popcorn stopped mid-reach. Alex stood at the baseline and bounced the ball twice. Her opponent was a hard-hitting Czech with a WTA ranking that made her a threat but not a favorite. Perfect. She liked the pressure that came without cameras. It gave her room to build. First serve, ace. She didn't smile. Just stepped back and did it again. By the end of the match, the crowd was clapping more audibly. They liked her hustle. They liked her calm. More than that, they liked the fight. She won 6-4, 6-3. As she left the court, a journalist shouted, "Big bounce back from the French Open, Alex. Thoughts?" She paused for half a breath, then gave a quick nod. "I want to forget that one," she said, with a grin this time. "Wimbledon's what I'm here for." Flashback, Paris. 2 weeks earlier, in the cramped room of her Paris hotel, Alex had stared at the ceiling all night. The loss in the early rounds had left her numb. Worse, it left her uncertain. Was she good enough for this climb? Her team had been gentle but honest. "You're playing not to lose, not to win," Clara had said, holding up a tablet of her match footage. And it was true. She had been reacting, not dictating. Tennis was psychological warfare. And she had let the opponent write the script. She had told herself, "I will not play like that again." Wimbledon, round 2. The second match was messy. The grass was slippery, the wind odd, the rhythm elusive. But she fought. She chased down impossible balls, lobbed when she couldn't power through, adjusted her grip, played smart angles. It wasn't pretty, but it was hers. She won 7-6, 5, 3-6, 6-4. As she signed a tennis ball for a young girl in the stands, the child asked, "Will you win the whole thing?" Alex looked into the girl's wide eyes and answered softly, "I'm going to try." Press conference. The reporters circled again. "Alex, is Wimbledon redemption for Roland Garros?" She leaned forward, elbows on the table. "I don't think of it like that," she said. "Paris taught me something. But yeah, some matches you want to forget, not because they were bad, but because they don't define you. This," she glanced toward the open window where the spires of Wimbledon loomed, "this is where I start the story I want to remember." Night before round 3. Alex sat alone in the quiet garden near the Players' Village. No phones, no music. Just her and the summer breeze. She thought about all the moments the cameras missed, the 6 a.m. jogs, the cramped airports, the injuries, the endless drills. She thought about the people who doubted her. Even worse, the ones who pitied her after losses. And then she thought of the ones who never stopped believing. Her family. Her brother. Her coaches past and present. The young Filipino girls watching from across the world. She took a deep breath, letting the French memories dissolve like sugar in tea. Then, softly, she whispered to herself again, I want to forget that one, because this one matters more. Epilogue. A season, a statement. Whether she would go all the way in Wimbledon or not wasn't the point. What mattered was that Alex Eala had turned the page. The tennis world didn't just remember winners. They remembered fighters. Resilient spirits. Stories that mattered. And now, Alex's story was unfolding not in regret, but in promise. She no longer carried the weight of one bad tournament. She carried the hunger of the next one. Because in tennis, and in life, you don't get to choose every chapter. But you do get to write the next one.